Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country, so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the SAR is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
I see in the next few months a noisy country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sensitive country, a very tough economy, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism by those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Liberian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come in.
Once again, a very warm welcome to the program. This is The Morning Call. I am Nyasha K. Mutizwa. Now, we kick off the show in Liberia. In office for just 2 years, Liberians are growing increasingly impatient with President George Weah. A struggling economy, rising food prices, and corruption accusations have stirred anger and discontent against Weah, who campaigned on a promise of delivering pro-poor policies. There have been several protests against Weah's rule, and another major demonstration is planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally, Ruth. And now we have one of the organizers and an activist joining us on the line. This is Mr. Mo Ali, who comes to us from the capital, Monrovia, in Liberia. A very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on the program. Now, why have you organized this march against President Weah?
Morning. As to your first question, we have organized the march, not particularly against President Weah, but against the style of governance. There is exclusion of people who express their feelings, people who criticize government. There is corruption all over government. It is evidenced by the mismanagement of 25 million. He has refused to prosecute those involved. There's still the issue of 16 billion lingering. There is this issue of interfering with the judiciary. There is this issue of consistent interference with the functions of the legislature. There are lots. but against the style of governance. There is exclusion of people who express their feelings, people who criticize government. There is corruption all over government. It is evidenced by the mismanagement of 25 million. He has refused to prosecute those involved. There's still the issue of 16 billion lingering of governance. There is exclusion of people who express their feelings, people who criticize government. There is corruption all over government. It is evidenced by the mismanagement of 25 million. He has refused to prosecute those involved. There's still the issue of 16 billion lingering. There is this issue of interfering with the judiciary. There is this issue of consistent interference with the functions of the legislature. There are lots of things. We have violations of our constitutions and laws. And so we are organizing this protest to tell Mr. Weah things. We have violations of our constitutions and laws. And so we are organizing this protest to, 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 and so we are organizing this protest to tell Mr. Weah that these things are wrong, and also to tell the country how he intends to resuscitate the economy.
Anti-riot police was out in force in the capital Monrovia to stop a major anti-government demonstration on Monday. But that was before opposition leaders announced a week-long postponement of the protest. The rally was meant to voice anger at the West African country's deepening economic crisis, which organizers blame on President George Weah.
We are proposing or counter-suggesting that we want, as the people of this country, January the 6th, Monday 2020. That is the day that the Council of Patriots wishes to assemble its people. We also want to state very clearly that we refuse the government's proposal or suggestion that we assemble in a stadium for a protest.
The opposition accuses Weah, in power for just 2 years, of mismanagement and interfering with the judiciary. The United Nations, Regional Bloc ECOWAS, and the United States have urged both parties to hold talks.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on operation or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their side is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country, as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, He chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Thankful to God Almighty, the creator and sustainer of us all, or every one of us on earth, the God who keeps watch over us day to day, night to night, who hovers us in our daily activity, interaction with people at different places, the God who provides, whose providential care is evident in our lives every day. We are grateful. We're thankful. He is good. He is faithful. He's God Almighty, the God of the external beauty of nature. We thank him for the rain, the sun, and every other element. We are grateful to God Almighty. And also thank you for coming on. I appreciate all of you. We are inspired by your presence. There's another day in Monrovia, Liberia. Before we get started, today is Thursday, so we're giving out 10,000 and add 5,000 there, 15,000 we are giving out. You want to take the 15,000 by playing the King's Cash giveaway, hit the jackpot with just 200 Liberian dollars or $1.50 US by dialing star 799 star 24 hash. That's all you need. And then you hit the jackpot with 15,000 Liberian dollars in your pocket. Liberty Squash and Win game is also on. The same you can do, just 200 Liberian dollars, and then you squash out your fortune. You experience your liberty, freedom, financially, 1,000 United States dollars. Take advantage of that. The draw is this week, a day after tomorrow. You could be that person whose name might come out, and then your 1,000 United States dollars is presented to you. King Support Basket is on. Also, they send with number 0555 885 885 0555 885 885. The local orange number 0777 017 885 0777 017 885. Keep dropping in the basket daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever. Just keep dropping. We appreciate you. We thank you. Don't give up. We got a lot to do. We got a little way to go. The roll is not far again. We are getting closer. So keep holding on with us. We appreciate everything that you have done and continue to do. Along the way, we wouldn't be counting on you. It is not temporary. It is not everlasting. You are just doing it for a time being. So don't get discouraged. Don't get weak. Like the Bible says, don't get weary. Keep doing good. And in the fullness of time, God knows what to do. So thank you again, and keep dropping in the basket. We appreciate you. Keep dropping. Keep dropping. Whichever. Just drop it in the basket. Huh?
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Elizabeth Thomas, Congo Town, Prince Saka, Solowat Korsia, Gatnosville, Juja Wonwe, Paris Slobart, New Jersey, the United States, Gemenin Peter, PHP Community, Barbara Stanford, Caldwell, that's Brooklyn, New York City, Roya P. Rogers, Ralph Cooper, Denver, Colorado, the U.S., Ruben Solomon, New Georgia, Caldwell Junction, New Georgia, Malu Fofana, 20th Street, Yasser Sharif, Henry T. Toll, Caldwell, Mema Sherman, that's UBA, 5th Street, UBA, Jack Foley Tombikai, Broville, Bible College, Josepha Manning, Oscar Ziongbane, Gompa City, Nima County, Doris Thomas, Johnsonville, Emmanuel Seager Jr., Bernard Farm, Painesville, Elijah Scott, Pagos Island Community, Oldest Congo Town, Jackson C. Pooning, Iron Factory, Block C Community, member of Block 13 Intellectual Center, Romancio Latupan, Chairman, Block 13 Intellectual Center, the only, with the exception of George Weah, second to George Weah, the only good man exists on earth, Romancio Latupan, Chairman for life, everlasting chairman that you always want to be in his presence. Die hard your win, but very good, doesn't discriminate, a melting pot. Stephen Fowler, Junior Chicken Soup Factory, Ernest Tosa, USA, Alfred Nimle, and we can just acknowledge all. Time is of the essence. Today is Thursday in Liberia, the 17th day of July 2025. Great day, good day, beautiful day, historic day. No reason it has two significant numbers. Two significant numbers. My dear Southeastern sister, Dwight, thank you for coming on. 1 and 7. The Bible says on the first day, first is 1, and 7 is God's number. 1 and 7, 17. All of them God. Great day, good day, God's presence. But let's start with what unfolded, not the protest. I know everybody is fixated or concerned about the protest. That is not our focus today. We had talked about July 17. It is here, the Bible says, and it shall come to pass. So it's up to you. We talk about it. We give the pieces of advice. We give the guidance, whatever. So we're not talking the July 17 protests. Instead, we talk the unprofessional, bad mannerism, unethical, immoral, inhumane, psychologically tortured, carried out by the police director. You have seen the video. You are aware of the scene. People have put their understanding to it. But as far as my little understanding of administration of ethical procedure and other things, you never ever, no leader, no rational, sound, mature leader will ever do that. No leader, sound, educated, mature, ethical administrator would not stoop so low. What the police director did to the lady and her colleagues after their display. Abby talked about it last night, so I don't want to be repetitive, but I just thought to bring out the unadministrative, the ineptitude, the unethical, immature conduct exhibited by the police director vis-a-vis the torture psychologically and what he has left this lady into. No boss, sound, rational, mature, well-schooled, grounded boss, a futuristic boss, that means a boss who thinks about the future, will ever do that. Every boss sits carefully and analyzes. That is why God warned in James 1:19, be slow to speak, which means analyze well, put all of the factors on the table, give it a careful consideration, so that when you speak, when the time comes to make judgment or to give judgment, everybody who will hear that judgment will point to you as being right. You are mature, you are ethical, you are moral, and on and on. And that do nothing with anger. That's why he said, be slow to speak, quick to hear, and slow to anger. He did not say, don't get vexed with people when they do certain things. He said, let not your anger ruin you, because when your anger overtakes you, then every action or the action that you take, it will be wrong in the eyes of the people, because the anger will have blindfolded you. It will have eroded or robbed you of your reasoning. And that's what unfolded. The lady and the rest of the guys, they did nothing wrong, in my opinion. We've seen act war behavior from police, which warrant disrobement or removal from the force or suspension indefinitely. We've seen all kinds of behavior not representative of the police under Gregory Coleman, who is not a witness to what I'm saying in this country. The witnesses are 99.9% of the awful, dreadful, gladiatory acts of the police under Gregory Coleman. Moreover, the police director can never ever tell anybody that he wasn't aware of that. The only reason he showed that he demonstrated that immaturity emotionally because he was ashamed. And his inability to move quickly. Please listen carefully. The question he asked the lady, no sound administrator, no one who is educated, no one who is mature, no one who is ethical administratively will ever do that. Please listen to these questions and tell me if they are right or he was right. They are in the room. And just like AB said on his show last night, he is a content creator. He actually knows how to draw the attention of the public, but most times for the wrong reason, and it goes against him. So he needs to sit down and really do a careful examination. He had planned to subject this lady and her colleagues to nothingness, to bring them down psychologically, to torture them. Listen to the questions he's asking or did ask the lady. She's standing in from him because she twerked in the open or danced awkwardly or exhibited whatever the behavior. You got children at home? The lady said yes. The second question, you marry? She said yes. Then he asked again, were you the one in the video? She said yes. Then he came with this question, how old are your children? She gave the numbers, 19 and 17. He comes back. How do you think they will feel when they see a video of their mother like the one that went on yesterday? He hit her with another question. Were you the one in that video? The second time he asked the question. And the lady said yes. He comes back with another question. How do you think when a 19-year-old and 17-year-old see their mother, how they will feel seeing their mother displaying such attitude? These are the questions. He was emotional. Now, please, I beg you, I may be wrong, but take a picture. Imagine yourself, a lady in a room, and you're being asked all of these questions. What has the event got to do with whether the lady got children or not, whether she married or not, whether her children seeing that video, what would they think of her? When you leave the administrative aspect and go personal, then it's no longer administration, because part of the job is to look at issues and know how to solve it. Even if it goes to the public, there is a way you can settle it behind the scene, because you would think that if I take action, it will be good and everybody will enjoy it like what he did, but it goes against the institution. It places a dent on the institution. If this was in another country, this lady would have taken this man to court and sue him for psychological, emotional damage or molestation, and he's going to pay thousands of millions of dollars. But this is a loose culture. You cannot, as a boss, leave administration and go personal. Whether the person married or not, it has got nothing to do with the person act. The person demonstrated something on the job. So you want to stick within that realm. It has got nothing to do whether the person has children or not. It has got nothing to do with any one of those things. All you need to do is to address the issue that going forward, what I saw and review it carefully, I don't want to see it again. Hence, as of today, this drill that you people call XYZ would not exist here. Have I made myself clear? Right there wouldn't be any psychological damage. But he reduced the lady and then put the lady off after saying all those things. In my research room last night, when I got home, I started thinking about this, imagining the police director and the people in the room. And I thought on the human rights people, especially the women. And I said to myself, that lady would not have anybody saying a word to her. She would not have. But if this was in Weah's time, nothing. This is what I wrote on my Facebook page in my research room thinking about it. I said, that was bully and psychologically emotional torture. I doubt the Liberian women advocates will ever say a word to that. If this was in Weah's regime, by the time the police director finished, forget it, all over the place. You hear AFL, Association of Female Lawyers, you hear this other women group, the other women group, why the police director, what's the police director name in Weah's government? Patrick Sudu, Patrick Sudu was this, was that. He should not have done it. They would say, or they will bring all of the ethical issues to the floor. All of these people that are in power today. That lady was tortured psychologically and emotionally. She was reduced. Imagine what she's going through right now. I do not know. I did not get that. I don't know whether it is true 100%. I didn't have time to actually check it out. Apart from what I see, people are reporting that she was disrobed. I don't know. But if that is true, imagine what she's going through. Imagine her family. Those two children, 19 and 17. She's off job for a thing that does not constitute in any way dismissal, that has no damaging effect on the Liberia National Police. But simply because one person feels that he has the ear, like Akara's Grace said 6 years ago, he has the ear of Joseph Yema Boakai, that he is the president's boy. He can do anything he wants to do. Nobody can say anything. Nobody can do anything. The women groups. Now, let a man in his house say something to his wife or another lady. It will go far and wide. We've seen it in this country. That is why most of the women institutions are not growing. That means they're not getting the recognition they ought to, because they discriminate. They operate, they are more driven to the elite, the money, the power that be, against those they see as ordinary, having no money, no value, no essence, they wouldn't get recognition from those people. Listen, yeah, what he did to the guy from the immigration service, because they said John Security. He turned to the guy and he said a lot more. I'm about to play this clip. So yeah, I just giving you a graphic picture. Those of you who didn't see the video, but I think most of you have seen the video. Then he turned to the guy. When he asked the guy was explaining what it was, what they were doing from a security perspective. Not necessarily they decided at their household we'll go and do this, we'll go and do that. People do drill, doing military drills. We've seen military drills. We've seen all kinds of stuff. Even if there's not a drills, when they're there amusing themselves, whichever way they can do some things. Yeah. It's just the same way in our profession too, the journalism profession. Certain times we just get together, amusing ourselves, doing all kinds of stuff. Does it have any impact on the media? No. You have to understand. And he acknowledged, he knew that it did not have significant impact, which you were listening to. Then he said, let's forget about the credibility, or let's forget about the institution. Meaning, we will not talk about the institution much. In essence, it didn't have much. But because the way it went viral, and maybe my boss may have, or some of the people around my boss may have said X, Y, Z about it. So let me show that authority. He looked at the guy after the guy had explained. Then he said, get out of my office. Go outside. Get out of my office. In fact, I sent you a letter behind you. You don't do that. You don't do that. You think because you are a boss, so you can just say anything to people, you flush them up anywhere. But every situation in life has a way of coming back to the person who does it. He said, get up, get outside. I sent a letter behind you to your boss that they will do this. In fact, you are no more part of. Amen. Liberian officials, too pathetic. When they have power, forget it. They abuse it, they misuse it, they overuse it, they underuse it. Let's have a listen. I hope that she's not dismissed. But if she's dismissed, then. If she is dismissed, let me say it this way before we play the clip. If she is dismissed, I hope that she finds something to do. I know that God can make way when there is no way, but you have to exert effort. I hope that she gets something to do. Also, Gregor Cuomo has damaged the family psychologically because she's down. Yeah, she's being counseled by her people and others. It has added spice to the opposition. You know, if she has 10 persons in that house, those 10 persons are in the opposition area. Because when you frustrate people, when you flush them out that way, when you abuse and you exploit them, torture them psychologically, they take comfort from the person who provides them safe haven or comfort. So if she has 4, 5, 6, 7 persons in her house, and they are Unity Party people, there are 6 or 7 votes there. UP lost those votes. I hope it can be that way. Let's have a listen to the police director.
Your children at home. You married? Were you the one in the field? Oh, yes. How old are your children? 19 and 17. Yeah. And how do you think they will feel when they see a video of their mother, like the one I went out yesterday? Were you the one in that video? How forget about the integrity of the institution. But how do you think your 19-year-old, your 17-year-old will feel if they see a video of the mother displaying an attitude of such? Think about that first. I
get you. I get you.
Think about that first. How do you think they will feel? You got your you have a job. Yeah. So you decide that you will just pump even the concrete. And that's the image I want to send out there. Do you know the work we put behind the scenes to try to change the image of this institution? The work we put behind the scenes to address issues.
We'll come to that. Let's go to the Capitol building and pick up Stephen Conto, who is there covering the protest. It is approaching the climax. Stephen, good. Yes. So, yes, you are there. Tell us what is it? How is the atmosphere presently?
So you decide that you just
something. Wait, Stephen, let me do an adjustment here. Then I can bring you on. Sorry, that is very significant. We need that at all costs, that information. So you can get me now in the climax. Stephen, good. Yes. So, yes, you are there. Tell us what is it? How is the atmosphere presently?
So you decide that you just
okay, it's really. Let me try a game that is very important that man can hold on. What he's saying, they're not really important. You can hold on. Let me try Stephen again. You can do that. You can do that to your subordinate. You can do that. That is wrong. Very wrong. Yeah, Stephen?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm getting you loud and clear. The adjustment has been made. Yes, tell us what is it? What's the atmosphere like?
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Sam Andrews, for getting me on. We are currently here at the Capitol building, and prior to us reaching to the premises of the Capitol building, we have an encounter that which I want to inform our people about. As you can recall, the police set a no-go zone at the road leading to the executive mansion. So when we reached the protesters, were trying to use that route, and the police was able to stop them. There was a bit of altercation between the police and the protester, but with the intervention of the head, or probably let's say the organizers of the protest, that particular situation was calmed down. And so fast forward, as I said, I currently before the Capitol building here, and the chairman for STEM just spoke, and he was able to give a position statement regarding the petition. And so in that, he was able to inform the public, or let's say lawmakers that are here, as well as the press, that the protester will not read out their petition statement unless President Joseph Boakai comes out. Or rather, if the president cannot come, quote unquote, according to the stance chairman, due to a poor health condition, and looking at the weather, if the president cannot come up, let him be able to send the vice president. But anything rather than the president or the vice president, they will not be able to read out their petition, not even to the speaker, because in your words, they see the speaker as a rebel speaker, a renegade speaker. So in the words, that's how he was able to describe Speaker Retico. So anything rather than the president or the vice president, more by more is saying that the group here will not be able to read out their petition statement.
Did you say lawmakers are there?
Come again?
Are lawmakers there?
Yeah, so far so good. The lawmakers have not come up from the building. We are seeing some of them the very entrances of the building, but they have not come out to the protesters here who I assembled before the main entrance of the building here facing the University of Liberia.
You want to give a graphic picture of the crowd there. What is the size of the crowd?
Yeah, so as we said this morning, there was a strategy that was put in place, and to our utmost surprise, the number of people out here is something that is beyond our imagination. Because we have taken a lot of pictures, and we share it with various platforms to inform our people. Despite the rainy weather, the citizens are definitely here in their numbers. I can say to you, they are really in their numbers, and they just come from various districts, and even it is just something that people never expected owing to the weather condition. And so the place is actually jam-packed before the Capitol building here. The citizens are here, and they are in their numbers.
It is obvious President Joseph Yuma Boaga will not go there. His advisors will not allow it. A replica of what we saw in the CDC government. That means they're going to stay there into the night.
Yeah, so there was an alternative from Chairman Modu that if the president, according to Chairman Modu, due to the president's poor health condition, if he cannot come, he should be able to send the vice president, who is a deputy to him. But anything rather than those people, they will not be able to read out their petition. If that causes them to be here up to the next hour, they are going to be here, but they will not be willing to read out their petition to Speaker Kun or rather any other lawmaker here.
But the police will not allow them to stay on until the night.
Yeah, that's why we are looking forward to see, and we are looking forward to see that, because that's a quest that they don't want to give the petition to any of the representatives, neither the speaker, because according to Chairman Monu, these people, quote unquote, are not in the interest. Some of them, though, who were part of the renegade lawmaker prior to the election of Speaker Kun, they are not in the interest of the ordinary people. And so such a people, according to Chairman Monu, they cannot be able to read out the petition. So then it seems like you are just wasting water on a rag. So they said they cannot do it, because if they do that, nothing will come from out of whatsoever thing the citizen will be expressing through the petition.
Did you observe, you have an understanding of any misunderstanding, chaos, whatever the magnitude, disorganization?
Okay, so that's a very beautiful question. Thank you so much, Mr. Sam Andrews. I have been with this group since this morning, and one thing I want to say is that the atmosphere here since this morning has been peaceful, and we have some of the protesters who were even at the extent of even directing the traffic to ensure that other people, have a free movement while they are there, protesting. So since this morning, I've been with this group from Stan's office, even here at the Capitol building. They have been doing extremely well to ensure that they don't infringe on the rights of other citizens, but whatsoever, they just do what they can do to present their petition to the government. So the entire protest has been peaceful, unlike what we saw here at the entrance of the Capitol building, somewhere around the road that leading to the executive mansion, where you have the Ministry of Internal Affairs, where we have some police officer posted, and the protesters wanted to use that route, but it said no. you people cannot use the route. You use the straight route leading to the University of Liberia and to the first gate of the Capitol building. So there was a little bit of tension, but it was, it has been calmed down now and everything is okay. So all I can say in essence is that since this morning, the protest or the engagement has been very, very much peaceful.
They've gathered.
And another thing that I want to, another thing that I want to say before you leave the line, Mr. Andrews, before you ask any other question, is the issue of the counter protest. And so some of the protesters here, they were heard saying, talking about General Bodneke, that his recent statement was something like a bluff. He couldn't have brought people outside to counter this particular movement here. So these are things we heard from the protesters, and they were telling us that they were ready to, counter protest against Bodneke and his group. But so far, so good, we are not seeing anything of such. We are not seeing Bodneke's. We have seen the presence of the Liberia Council of Churches. We have had a lot of interaction with them, and they were able to give their own perspective about the ongoing protests here.
What is your observation of officers of the Liberia National Police now that the protesters have gathered in their thousands to present their petition?
Okay, so President, from where I am, we are not seeing the presence of the Liberia National Police, except for the security here who are assigned at the Capitol building. Some of them are still around, and we can see some of them are there in the compound of the Capitol building, but not where the protesters are currently. We are not seeing any officers in the midst of the protesters, but rather they are in the fence of the Capitol building, watching on the activities.
What did the Liberia Council of Churches say? Did you get a word or two from them, or they didn't speak?
Yeah, so some members of the council spoke to me, and we're able to ask them about their own perspective about today's engagement of the citizens, and they were able to express a bit of excitement in the form and manner in which the protest is being conducted by the protesters. According to them, it is something that they have been praying for, that this particular engagement of the citizens does not turn out to be chaotic. And so they were able to express a bit of excitement and appreciation to the organizers of the protest. So far so good. These are things they were able to talk about, and they just pray that what has happened since this morning, the nature in which the protest is being conducted continues like that until the citizens can be able to read out their petition to the government and they leave the premises of the Capitol building.
Just before you go, Quantum, we heard of this incident that occurred at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change, where a woman claimed that she was manhandled by protesters who came from in the compound of the Congress for Democratic Change. What do you know about that?
Yeah, so in regards to that, when we got on the grounds of the headquarters of the CDC, that was one of our major concerns. We were able to speak with not only partisans of the CDC, but also on locals that are residents around the area to get their own perspective. So from the angle of the party members, they were able to tell us that was just a plot, designed by the lady who said she was somehow look at the protester leading to a car being damaged and all these kind of things. So she was able to talk about that, but yet and still, the members of the CDC said that was a trick, that was a strategy, to put attention at the headquarters of the party. So they refused such claim from the lady. And even we had an interaction with some locals, that is residents who were around the area there, and they were able to tell us that nothing of such was done by those people who gathered at the party headquarters. So nothing of such was done by them.
Up to the time you left the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change, the forces or scores of police officers who had gone there were there. Did you leave them there, or they left you there?
Yeah, so we actually left them there because I followed the group when we reached somewhere around the CDC headquarters, because there were huge police presence there at the CDC headquarters.
And did you find out? Did you try finding out why were they at the headquarters? Because our understanding was that they got there early and there was no notification, and their presence there was not within the arrangement had with the police director where the protesters were assembled. But suddenly they saw two pickup trucks.
So as I was saying, in regards to that, our presence there was, according to them, was to ensure that the protesters conduct themselves in a very peaceful manner, in a way in which that will avoid any form of the protest being chaotic. But another incident that I talked about when we reached around the Invincible Park, somewhere around the CDC headquarters, we have some police officers who were present there. And when the protesters tried to do that drill, tried to sing their songs, one of the police officers instructed his men to ensure that the protesters leave that particular area. So after he instructed the men to instruct the protester to leave the area, the momentum from the protester, one of the police officers was able to tell the protester, he meant to leave the protester to go ahead or doing whatsoever thing they wanted to do.
Thank you so very kindly for the update, concern, and please be posted. I will link up with you because we want to get the end of that presentation before the show comes to our end, or even beyond the show.
Definitely, Mr. Sam Andrews. Newton Topa is also here with me, and he's doing extremely well, and we are up posted here. But what we are seeing now, there are food that have been brought for the protesters, and we are here, and we are doing everything possible.
Who brought in the food, Content?
I think
the protesters themselves.
Update of that. Yeah, the protesters themselves, because we have an interaction with one of the coordinators from district number 8, and she told us that, they have provided for themselves and they are cooking heavily for the protesters here so that, they can be able to feed them here, during this particular engagement.
They are cooking on the ground or a selected place, then they take the food there.
They cook the food to an unknown area that I cannot mention, but they brought the food here and they are about to.
All right, thank you so much. That is Stephen Conto on the ground where the protesters have gathered in their tens of thousands to present their petition to President Joseph Yeman Boakai. And according to Stephen Conte, the president isn't there. There's no sign, neither any one of his people. So it's like it's going to be what we saw Weah's time. So like people say, okay, Weah did it to us. He never showed up to receive our petition, June 7th. So Boakai isn't going there. Nobody will go there. Nobody going to receive a petition. They will be there as long as they want to. When they get tired, they can go. But nobody going to do that. Joy Momolu, you are following from your business center on Galley Street behind Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. Patience Wisner Ibrahim Krumah. So that why or how it unfolded. The police director was very immature, but thank God it happened. At least in this time, they're saying how women have been tortured, they have been emotionalized, they've been radicalized by people who are in government. It's good. At least I wish more of that could happen. I'm not in favor of that, but I'm saying it from a political standpoint because it will be a minus for the government and something for the opposition to capitalize on. You don't want to treat anybody like that. You can't. You can't. What extra, what damaging, or how damaging that thing is on the police. The police did more dreadful thing since the ascendancy of President Bouaka. Greco, you see all those things. You know what it means to desecrate the sanctity of the first branch, even though they know themselves. Sorry, no disrespect, but a legislature, the first branch of government, would never entertain that thing. Nowhere in the world it happens that police and police evade the first branch of the capital, desecrate its sanctity and honorability, beat lawmakers, barricaded the place. It did not think the police carried out. It didn't think the police carried out. Why he did not? Why he did not include his men on the ground who carry out the act in the ASA investigation? Because he knows it's damaging, it's bad off. So he shielded them. We have to stop using our position to show strength on people down the line. Women, there are other women doing all kinds of things all over the place. Why you can't go ahead and say all kinds of things because she is a police officer? Then you told the guy from immigration, get out of my office, get us out. I'll send a letter behind you to your boss. You don't do that. That's immaturity. It's unadministrative. Having a power, having authority, is not to abuse it. It's not to present it in a way that it will go back on you. Gregor Como thinks that he looks like a big boy, a liked person in this country. All over the world, people see you, they respect you. But it doesn't mean that they really like your behavior. They respect you because you're in police uniform. They respect you because you be man. But it doesn't say that they actually, you know what led to some people today, people look at them in a war. They say, in there, lay a horse there. But they used to respect those people. When they were exhibiting the power, they used to say, oh, yes, sir. They used to obey them when they were exhibiting all behavior administratively. But when the people realized that during the war, they didn't get power again, no guns surrounding them, no bodyguard. So they were in power, and I say, but yeah, man, yeah, man, horse over there. Yeah, man, family horse. People can respect you when you're on, but once you off it, forget it. You're powerless. Okay. Just thought to share my understanding that lady was badly treated. Badly. That was pure psychological and emotional torture. Yeah. You don't want to do that. All the women group then and be screaming, respect women. Respect women. Yeah, there, your fellow woman. Gregor Coleman, use her. Disgrace her. I dare you people write a single press release or call a news conference. Yeah, the other ones, they call themselves, I know, they say elder voices or voice of the elders. All the things that have been happening, they didn't see it because Liberians decided to exercise their constitutional right to assemble and petition the government. Then they say protest not necessarily will cause chaos. Has it caused chaos? All right. So let's go this way. Let's go this way.